Hello and welcome to Your Government in Action, a presentation of Bahamas Information Services. I'm Carissa Williamson. With a continued goal of empowering and providing opportunities for the youth, 63 recruits of the third cohort of the Bahamas National Youth Guard received awards and certificates at a graduation ceremony held at Baha Mar Convention Center on November 4th, 2024.
Those who know me know that I don't generally speak before my boss speaks. I will make an exception on this occasion to just advise the Prime Minister and all of you here and all who may get to hear this of some facts. The facts are that members from the National Youth Guard are already discharging functions that they were trained to. In the wildfires in Andros, a youth guard from Cohort 1 assisted, as have youth guard during hurricanes. I'd also advise Prime Minister that the public-mindedness of the participants in this program is solid. We have 4 youth guards participating in the HYPE program, Helping Young Persons Excel, an intervention program in our primary schools. We have Youth Guard members participating in Let's Swim Bahamas, a program by Andy and Nancy Knowles, teaching primary school students how to swim and introducing them to Bible stories and memory verses. And so, Prime Minister, your vision for this organization is being realized. Just one last thing before I call on the visionary responsible for this, and that is Deputy Commander Defense Force and Deputy Commissioner of Police. We have these minimum requirements for recruitment to your services of 5 BJCs, English and math, and any other 3. And if we had a BJC called Looking at the Sea, that would do. I see no reason, DCDF Deputy Commissioner, that the training that these young people have received ought not to be able to bridge the additional 3 subjects required. And as I think I have some ability to affect that in the Defense Force by Defense Force instructions, and very persuasively speaking to you in the police force, Prime Minister, unless you overrule me, the National Youth Guard will become a bridging requirement for recruitment to the Defense Force and the police force.
It is indeed a pleasure to be here to celebrate this third cohort. So let's give the newest members of the National Youth Guard a rousing round of applause. Today is indeed a special milestone. For these 63 young men and women, the past few months have been filled with new experiences, exciting challenges that have stretched their mental and physical limits. Through grit and determination, these recruits have developed valuable disaster preparedness and leadership skills, all the while acquiring medical techniques and vocational training that will serve them well on their respective career paths. I was fortunate to meet with many of you during your carpentry training, and I was moved by your talent and your spirit. The experience took me back to my own high school days, not too long ago. When I worked as a carpenter's helper for many years. In those days, he went to school and he learned a trade, and carpentry was a trade that my father pushed me to learn. So it was indeed a privilege to spend some time with you, and it has only made me believe all the more strongly that youth empowerment is key to confronting some of our country's most pressing challenges. At that workshop, I urge you all to take advantage of your training. Today, I celebrate your success and wish you well in this new chapter of your lives. The National Youth Guard was designed to produce courageous, compassionate, and adept young leaders, well equipped to respond in times of disaster. You now emerge from this program as a vital cadre of first responders. Hold fast to your training, as it will be key to the safety and well-being of yourself and of our brothers and sisters. As weather extremes grow more common and more acute, you will be among the guardians we look to in times of crisis. Through your sense of duty as young people, committed to making a positive difference in your nation, you inspire confidence in all of us. Disasters need not spell doom. With the right preparation and the right people, we can mitigate the damage caused by disasters. This year's hurricane season largely spared our islands, but while it officially came to a close last Friday, serious storms like Beryl, Helene, and Milton remind us that the stakes are always high for our region, and like global temperatures, they continue to rise. I've been pushing for change, real change, on the world stage, and the global advocacy has given rise to more bargaining power, partnerships, and investments for the Bahamas. Here at home, we are rolling up our sleeves and working even harder. We are securing a new energy future for all of our islands by transitioning to 30% renewable energy by 2030. This is part of a wider energy reform agenda that is bringing clean, reliable, and efficient energy to all Bahamian families. As I stressed this past September at Climate Week in New York City, this transition is good for the planet and good for our economy. It's creating green jobs, fostering local expertise, and enhancing the resilience of our energy generation and transmission infrastructure. Climate change is a threat to the entire world, and it poses an even greater threat to the Bahamians than many others. However, the challenges posed by climate change are also prompting innovation and advancement like never before. As the climate changes, so are we. We are harnessing our collective capacity and spirit, not just to endure, but to overcome. Friends, with the graduation of this last cohort of the National Youth Guard, we are rising to the occasion. Cohort 3, we are so proud of you. This is a brilliant achievement. I thank you for your dedication to country and your passion for service. The time you have invested in this program has not only made you more skilled and empowered individuals, it has made our nation stronger.
On Monday, November 25, 2024, the Disaster Risk Management Authority traveled to Andros along with the Chinese Embassy for a gift presentation. Minister of State in the Office of the Prime Minister with responsibility for disaster risk management, the Honorable Leon Lundy, brought remarks.
It's a privilege to offer a heartfelt vote of thanks on behalf of the Disaster Risk Management Authority and the Minister of Disaster Risk Management. Today's signing is not only a significant moment for disaster management in the Bahamas, but also a celebration of the strong and enduring friendship between our nations. Ambassador Yang, your presence here is deeply appreciated. This donation represents a meaningful step forward in our shared commitment to disaster preparedness and response. We hope that this visit will allow you to gain a deeper understanding of our vision for comprehensive disaster management, one that emphasizes innovation, community empowerment, and proactivity. and that understanding fosters cooperation and growth also. The People's Republic of China has long been heralded as a hub of technical advancement and innovation, values that also drive the DRM's authorities' mandate. We are confident there is much we can learn from your experiences, and we seek opportunities to enhance our collaboration. As climate change intensifies the frequency, strength, and unpredictability of storms, disaster management has become an existential priority of the Bahamas. It is no longer a question of if we will face the next catastrophic storm, but when. This reality demands a laser focus on building a safer, more secure future for all Bahamians, and we are grateful to have much allies like China supporting us in our mission. It is particularly meaningful today that we are gathered here today in this great island of Andros at the South Andros Multipurpose Center rather than in Nassau. This just reflects our deep belief that disaster management cannot be Nassau-centric. A whole-of-country approach is essential, and we are working tirelessly to empower our family island communities and strengthen their local disaster response systems. Resilient island communities are the backbone of a resilient nation. I know this is also a priority for the Embassy. As Chairman Storr mentioned, we are grateful for the generous $70,000 donation towards the shelter currently under construction in Abaco. That shelter will be a part of a series of purpose-built disaster facilities that the DRM Authority aims to roll out in the coming years. Now, Ambassador Yang, I also thank you for joining me in this remarkable facility for touring, and a point of pride in my tenure as Member of Parliament for the constituency of Mangrove Key, Central, and South Andros. The South Andros Multipurpose Center is more than a community hub. It is also a hurricane shelter built to withstand winds of up to 200 miles per hour. It symbolizes our commitment to family island resiliency. Once again, thank you, Ambassador Yang, for your support and for continuing the legacy of goodwill and partnership between China and the country of the Bahamas.
More of Your Government in Action when we return. Welcome back. Officials at the Department of Gender and Family Affairs, partners at the National Women's Advisory Council, and other women's non-governmental stakeholders are gearing up for the annual National Women's Week celebrations scheduled for November 24th to 30th, 2024.
National Women's Week is being celebrated in the Bahamas from the 24th through the 30th of November. The theme of this year's celebration, Empowered Women, Refined, Reskilled, Resilient, Resolute, underscores the quality of women who are strong even though times of struggle and hardship, even through times of struggle and hardship. History records that women and men work closely together to root out political and economic inequalities to obtain the right to vote. Amid social and economic challenges, women in the Bahamas have demonstrated tenacity. This year marks 62 years since women first voted. This historic accomplishment took place on the 26th of November, 1962. The contribution of those women and men who fought for the enfranchisement of the Bahamian woman remain resolute in their goals. Today, we pay tribute to some of the leaders of the suffragette movement, including Mary Ingram, Mabel Walker, Georgina Simonet, Eugenia Lockhart, and Doris Johnson. These brave women were among others who agitated and bravely led the charge of the suffrage movement. The right to vote should never be taken lightly. Since this momentous first vote, women have continued to contribute to the building of this great nation. In commemoration of this significant milestone, the Department of Gender and Family Affairs, in collaboration with the National Women's Advisory Council, civil society, and non-governmental women's organizations throughout the Bahamas celebrate National Women's Week with a number of events that includes the following. There will be 2 church services, one on Saturday, the 23rd of November at 11 a.m. at Good News Seventh-day Adventist Church, Flamingo Gardens. Sunday, November 24th at 10 a.m. at New Destiny Cathedral on Gladstone Road. The 26th of November, National Women's Week Empowerment Luncheon featuring a panelist with female leaders from across the political divide. Other plans include participation in school assemblies, talk shows, and the broadcast of the documentary screening, Womanish Ways, Freedom, Human Rights, and Democracy. I wish to make mention of the United Nations 16 Days of Activism to End Violence Against Women and Girls, which will be observed from the 25th November, the International Day for the Elimination of Violence Against Women, to the 10th of December, Human Rights Day. This campaign calls for global action to increase awareness, advocacy, and innovations to help end violence against women and girls. The 16 days of activism are included in the observance of National Women's Week, and in this regard, the Department of Gender and Family Affairs has organized the End the Violence March and Rally for Sunday, 7th December, beginning at 4 p.m. The march will start at the South Beach Police Station and end at the Pinewood Gardens Park with a rally. It is expected that representation from a cross-section of the country will come together in solidarity to speak out against violence against women and girls. The public is invited to come out and show their support. As we celebrate the women of the suffrage movement and the historic right to vote, we also celebrate the great strides our women have made and their many accomplishments in various spheres. We also recognize that the work started during the suffrage movement continues to this day through the various women's organizations who lobby for a life free of violence, true equality, and economic empowerment. Our women have remained strong through times of struggle and hardship. Amid social and economic challenges, they have demonstrated tenacity. During this National Women's Week, it is an opportunity to reflect, celebrate, and strategize. I invite the public to participate in the events organized in the...
To start National Women's Week, a church service was held at New Destiny Cathedral Church, Gladstone Road, on November 24, 2024. Minister of Social Services, Information and Broadcasting, the Honorable Miles LaRota, and Mistress Anne-Marie Davis from Office of the Spouse were in attendance.
It is fitting that we acknowledge and give thanks to Almighty God, the preserver and sustainer of all living. At the onset, let me thank you again for your support of the initiatives of the Ministry of Social Services, Information and Broadcasting, particularly the Building Stronger Families, Building Stronger Communities initiative. Our aim is to form partnerships to strengthen the family unit. One of our most glaring warnings that pose as a threat to the stability of our nation is the growing number of single homes led by women. Other social ills such as crime and violence still confront us. These issues motivated the Ministry of Social Services to recommit and intensify its strategies to mobilize hope and strengthen families. National Women's Week is being observed from the 24th to the 30th of November 2024 under the theme Empowered Women, Refined, Reskilled, Resilient, Resolute. This week is being commemorated on the anniversary of women voting for the first time in the Bahamas. On the 26th of November 1962, women 21 years and older became eligible to vote. The women's suffrage movement led the charge. Since gaining the right to vote, the women of the Bahamas have made remarkable strides. They have excelled, holding key positions in public and private sectors. They play an important role in our homes, in the workplace, in our churches, and in our communities. We are proud of the achievements of our women who stand on the shoulders of trailblazing matriarchs. Despite the accomplishments, however, that women have made, there are challenges that plague our women and our country at large. Violence against women and girls remains a matter of concern, as we see that played out this week. Tomorrow, the Bahamas will join the United Nations in launching the 16 Days of Activism for the Elimination of Violence Against Women campaign, which is being observed from November the 25th, the International Day for the Elimination of Violence Against Women, to the 10th of December, Human Rights Day. I invite you to join the Department of Gender and Family Affairs in a march and rally on Saturday, the 7th of December, 2024, as we raise the awareness of violence against women and girls in our country. I also encourage you to continue to do your part in molding the lives of our people, young and old, through your various ministries and programs. I believe that together we can accomplish much. May God continue to bless you all.
Minister of Social Services, Information and Broadcasting, the Honorable Miles LaRota, held a press conference on Monday, November 25, 2024, at the Ministry of Social Services to update the public on the case of 12-year-old Adriel Moxie and also 72-year-old Venetia Butler. Minister LaRota also detailed the complexities of the ministry's responsibilities in handling cases and situations such as these.
Last week, I had the opportunity to speak briefly concerning the unfortunate death of young Adriel Moxie. And at that time, I indicated that I would address the press once my department had provided details on this matter. I am saddened by the tragedy that unfolded last Wednesday, November 20th, 2024. The loss of 12-year-old Adriel Moxie has affected us all. No parent should ever have to face the heartbreaking reality of losing a child, especially to violence. The question abound, and among them are, how did this happen? Why did this happen? Where was Adriel's village? Over the past few days, a lot of misinformation have been circulating, especially on social media. Some have claimed that at some point Adriel was in the care of social services and residing in a residential care facility. It should be noted that to date we have found no record to confirm that Adriel resided in any of the Department of Social Services homes. Adriel was seemingly in a difficult situation, and while it is easy to judge and say what should have happened, we must realize that this tragedy is much more complex than some are portraying. This is yet another reminder that some families are in crisis and need help. Help that not may be readily available by an extended family, and help that may be limited or non-existent from the community. Adriel's situation, like so many others, is a reflection of a system that is stretched too thin and is overwhelmed. The government cannot do this alone. We need stronger, more coordinated efforts to support families in crisis. We need you, the public, to be our eyes and ears. If you see something or suspect something, say something. Report it. Our national hotline numbers are indicated on the flyer that is being distributed. I'd like to note that while some may say that we have done nothing when reports are made to the hotline, we have in fact also had reported cases where we have acted and persons have then made complaints because they felt that our intervention was not required. Since the incident, my team and I have reflected on how we can improve the systems that are intended to protect our children. In the ensuing weeks, we will meet with our stakeholders, the police, church leaders, and NGOs to review our existing protocols with a view to making the necessary adjustments that may be required. Internally, the Department of Social Services will also review its protocols to ensure that loopholes or missteps are eliminated and stringent measures are put in place for the proper follow-up of cases. We realize that we will never have a perfect system. However, we will certainly strive to maximize our strengths and minimize our weaknesses. As we do our part, I encourage the village, which is every sector of our society, to come together not as bystanders, but as active participants to create a safer and more supportive environment for our children. The death of Adriel and others like her should serve as a wake-up call for our nation. We must continue to work together in earnest, the government, communities, families, and individuals, to ensure that every child is safe and protected from harm. Today, on this International Day to End Violence Against Women, and by extension girls, we remember Venetia Butler, a 72-year-old female who was killed in the confines of her own home. We continue to decry such acts of violence and encourage our community to be our brother and sister keeper. Thank you.
I'm Carissa Williamson, and this has been Your Government in Action, a proud presentation of Bahamas Information Services. Join us on Tuesday evenings, where we bring you highlights, coverage, and information as we continue to do what we do best, linking people and government.